welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got live tournament action coming at you. It is game... Oh, no, this is a best of one. I take it back, but it will be on MLG's Daybreak. Kodak versus Fantasy. And we've got Wiggy on the line.
Of course, we got Fantasy. I think it's actually supposed to be GSL's Daybreak, but it does not matter. They are the same exact thing. There's no golds on either one, and they are the supply depot, so I'm not really too concerned from that, but... Spawning in the southern location, I guess, would be the. Would you say that's 7 o'clock? Would you say?
Yeah,
I'd give it
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Or you can always call it, the bottom left-hand corner, because basically is what it is.
Southwest, bottom east. We have Kodak, our yellow Masters Protoss, and in the northeast we have FTaCtFantaSy, also known as just Fantasy, because, well, that's a lot of letters to say, or FTaCtFantaSy, I guess. And, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 13 too. I don't know if any of you guys are a big fan of the game, but it's actually pretty good. Big Final Fantasy nerd. A little tip. Well, a little tip right there, Knack, if you're looking to get me a birthday present.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
But what do you think we're going to see on our players this game? You see Fantasy is going for the wall off. Do you think he's going to go for a 1-1-1 build? I mean, Banshees have pretty good reason to go on this map. There's a lot of dead space here for them to float around and hang out and build up energy.
I mean, it's a definite possibility. We'll be able to see the telltale signs here in just a few moments. The big thing is when we see him taking his second gas. Once we see that go down, we'll basically know at that point what he's going to be going. There's some other things that we can see beforehand. But notice he's getting his first gas here as early as he can. 2 minutes in is great timing there. I love that Kodak cruising out here to get a good scout out on what's going on right away. He wants to see what's going on, try and pick up on those timings, and he's going to be as active as he can with this probe.
Oh, a smart decision. He's actually backing away from that engagement. Doesn't want to lose to the SCV, because the SCV will win just because it has more health. Yep. But getting away with the probe, and look how quick those shields come back. It's unreal. Yeah. And look at that. That's such a smart decision from Fantasy. I'm sure many people are aware of doing that little trick. But basically, all you do, I don't know if Fantasy isn't careful, that probe might be able to kill that.
Yeah, 11 HP.
Oh,
there
wow.
He goes. He's got it.
I've never seen a probe do that. Yeah, but little trick there. Pretty much you build the supply depot to make the wall off, and then you halt production on it, send that SCV to the scout, and you have the SCV building your barracks, finish that supply depot, to finish your wall off, and get your extra supply done. You do sacrifice a bit of economy for it. You will delay your orbital command by a little bit, but honestly, it's quite worth it.
Right. Now, I don't expect to see... Oh, go ahead.
There's a reactor, so it will be 1-1-1. I have... all signs are pointing to it, and there goes oh no, another barracks. Maybe it's a 2 racks.
It has to be. The reason I would say that is because he didn't get his second gas here. He's got to get it down before the 3.5 minute mark. You usually want to take your second gas around 3 minutes if you're going to go for that 1-1-1. But yeah, so barracks. I'm assuming we're going to see a nice, solid push from Marine Marauders here, and possibly a good expansion taking place right around the 5.5 minute mark or so. I'd say probably is what we're going to see from Fantasy at this point. Very standard play, really. I mean, he's kind of resorting back to the good old days,
Yeah, 2010 builds. I mean, 2 racks is still a really good, safe build. It's probably the safest build you can do as a Terran player, and considering it is the best of one, I really cannot disagree with the decision, although he did get a scout in the fact that his opponent did fast expand off only 1 gate, so this 2 racks might actually be pretty good, considering that his opponent won't gate expand. He's only going to have 1 gate's worth of units, so...
Right, and one thing I disagree with here on Kodak's side is that he's chrono boosting out his warp gate technology. If he's going to expand off 1 gate, he needs to be consistently chrono boosting out his stalkers and sentries from his gateway there. Now he's going to be tossing down 2 more gates, but he will be shy on units here as he moves forward. It looks like he is cruising forward with the stalker, but he's getting surrounded, man. This guy's like, where do I go? Where do I go?
Yeah, there's not much he can do. I mean, I think he will... Oh!
Barely going to live.
He should have ran the other way. He would have been just fine.
Would have been just fine if he went south, but that's okay.
That's a big pick. This is what I'm saying with Protoss. If you can pick off their units very early on, you're going to have a distinct advantage, because between Terran and Zerg, your units increase significantly faster than Protoss in terms of overall macroeconomics, but... when you, as Protoss, you have that instantaneous, of course, the Warpman. So, and you can see right here, he is cutting back with the Stalker. They do outrange Marines just by 1, but that Marauder's out. And does it have concussive shells? It does have concussive shells. And Kodak, if he's not careful, he's going to have to pull probes. He is warping in 2 more Stalkers. Luckily, his other 2 gateways did finish up in time. I would say if Fantasy had maybe one more Marauder with this, which I think he does have rallied over.
Yeah, he might. He's got a lot of Marines here too, and I mean we can't discount the strength of this push, especially because he's mixed in a couple of these SCVs for a little bit of tank there. But and look how Kodak's way out of position here, and he's trying to delay the push, but he may be trying to delay it too much and is going to find himself getting counterattacked because he pushed out so far. And here it goes.
Oh yeah, this is going to be really bad for Kodak. This whole army of fantasies just marching right up into the main. Polens are exposed, probes are exposed, even Stalkers going down early, and Kodak has to be careful. Stalkers, when you think about it, are very fragile in few numbers and without blink, because your Marauders tear them apart, man. Yes, I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yes, I played Protoss myself, so yeah, I'm quite familiar. And you know, an interesting note is that Blizzard themselves call Stalkers a support unit, and I think it's wise to remember that. I mean, yes, if you look at their HP and shields, it's a lot. I mean, it's 160 total, right? Mm-hmm. But for how much they cost, it's really not that much. And they do have to be considered a support unit in many regards until they have upgrades like Blink, like you're saying. And that's the key, is if you can make them more mobile, well, they turn into a little bit better of a unit. So we'll see how that's going to go for him. But he did hold off there just barely. But if you do look at units lost, it is going to be relatively even with Kodak just slightly behind. But the nice thing for him is he did get his economy up and running in a very big way during that entire time.
Yeah, 37 probes to 29 SCVs, although there are 2 mules out, so I believe the economy is a little bit in favor of Fantasy. Right. It's unreal how good mules are, but only for periods of time. People kind of, I think, even though the mule is getting a nerf, and I do think it's a little, I think it's a good thing that it's getting a nerf for the gold basis. Although they're kind of falling out of favor in tournament play. Right. The mule is really periodic, and it does have its drawbacks. It mines out Terran very, very quickly, and if you can hold Terran to 2 base for a significant amount of time, by the time they need to take their third, their main is probably mined out. And their natural is probably getting pretty close. So mules do have drawbacks. I think people kind of just write them off as like this superior economy unit that does everything good and nothing bad. And I'm not sure if it does have its drawbacks, and that always needs to be considered by the opposing player. Right. And I feel like enough players at lower levels of play don't really consider that.
Right. Now we do have movement here from Fantasy. He's got his first 2 medevacs out on the field, and he's going to be heading out across the field here. I'm thinking we're going to see a drop from him, as well as maybe some pressure at the front door, because he's taken more than what he can load in those 2 medevacs. But a good scout out from Kodak. He's got a good scout here. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he has Colossi too, and Fantasy doesn't have Stim or Combat Shield, or +1. He's actually pretty low on his infantry tech, although he does have medevacs already. Double prong attack will be good here. It looks like Kodak's already in position for it.
If he moves those Stalkers back, boy, it'd be nice if they were back just a little bit further. They could potentially snipe one of these medevacs before it does come down. But here comes your drop, right to the backside of this mineral line. While these other guys are moving up to the front, we'll go check and see how effective they are going to be being here in just a moment. There they are. They're starting to attack. Looks like
that one Colossi. Ooh, they do. Yeah,
Wow.
they picked the Colossi. The drop in the back of the base is doing a lot of damage. All the probes are going down. Kodak not adequately splitting his units up. Fantasy's pretty much cleaned out all the probes inside the main base and is now beginning to target on structures. Probably going to go for he's going to go for the Robo Bay, and good PC, he says. I assume maybe good pick or...
I don't know. But Kodak does GG out of that game, and that is going to send Fantasy into the semifinals, I believe. And we're going to go ahead and we'll go right along with him. What do you say, Wendy?
Yeah, we don't really have much of a choice because that's the next match we have to play, but hey, I'm all for it.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming out. Thanks for watching. Don't alt-tab, always up StarCraft. To see you guys in our next semifinal. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We are finally moving into our other semifinal for the evening. It is going to be... whoops. There we go. It is going to be Fantasy taking on...
Sam, I guess.
Sam is what he wants to go by? Okay.
Sam, Scott. I'll just call him whatever we feel like.
Let's call him Scott. Even that's what we did call him before. I remember now. That's what we were calling him before, because that's the last 4 letters of his name there, which is an unintelligible string of characters. Some of them may not even be letters. If you look at it for too long, turn your head to the side just a little bit. It's like, wait a second, that is an alien language.
It could be a picture of something. There's plenty of people who do that. There's actually, I don't know, you ever hear the band called Fall of Troy?
No, I haven't. I'll have to check that out.
They have I think they broke up. I don't know if they're still together, but one of their first CDs had a song on it called I have to actually look this up. I'm curious now because I'm digress here, but it is curious. Actually, a really, really good song.
Well, while you look it up, I will get into spawn positions here. It is going to be Scott, who is a Zerg player. He is blue Zerg, kicking it over here at the 8 o'clock position, I guess. And up here at the 2 o'clock, it is going to be Fantasy. They are cross positions. Fantasy is our red Terran. He's going to be in a on a relatively small map and going to be going for some early barracks pressure. He's got 2 barracks going down in the center of the map here.
Yeah, I think he wasn't expecting such an early scout from the Zerg player.
Right.
I don't think that's the best location for those barracks. I definitely would have put them maybe in the gold or over there, or even maybe outside this main, just like a Macarak style, because he's putting on a lot of economy really quick. Drones even being pulled, or a lot of pressure really quick. Drones being pulled to deal with the SCVs to stop them from building, and I actually really disagree with that decision. He should have just thrown down his pool. It's actually going for the hatch first. Wow.
I know, even after he scouted
Scott,
it, he went ahead
you
and tossed
are
his...
a gutsy boy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I was going to say, is like he scouted that, and then he went ahead and tossed down his expansion. It's crazy train, but he tossed it down anyway, and Fantasy is now going to be moving forward. Obviously, Scott is not going to allow him to build any type of forward barracks at this point. He's going to make sure and keep those barracks at bay. We do have Fantasy continuing to produce these Marines, and the sad thing here for Fantasy is if he doesn't get the amount of damage done that he needs to, he's going to have a long flight home for these barracks, and that could cost him a lot of production time.
Yeah, so he's even doing the supply depot drive. He's intending to go all in. I would not be surprised if he pulled SCVs with this. I mean, that supply depot drive is pretty good and big indication. Supply depot does finish. A lot of drones being pulled for Scott, and this already, pulling that many drones is doing indirect damage to his economy. And he does get a pretty good surround on the SCVs, but the Marines are doing pretty good work at shooting them down. He's already lost 4 of them, I believe. Wow.
And here comes your Zerglings, though. He does have 10 on the way, now 12. Couple of them popping right now. Here comes your first 2, and one of them goes down there almost immediately, so Scott does need to be careful, and he cannot allow this bunker to complete. Yeah. Here comes your Lings, and he's got those drones that he has pulled there, and I think he'll probably be able to hold on here, but he does need to try and focus down.
There's 7 Marines right there. That's a lot of Marines, man. Actually only 4 now, but that bunker will finish, and that's pretty crucial, man. Even though there's Lings out, that bunker will be able to sustain a lot of damage for the Terran player, and wow.
I don't even know if that was in range, though. Was it in range?
It doesn't really matter. It's going to be hard to take out. The main problem there, and I think it's what Scott had realized, he didn't make a spine crawler. If you see a bunker going down and you should make a spine crawler because you can always cancel it. It's only going to cost you 25 minerals. And if you get it up, it's going to play in later on for any kind of Hellion pressure.
Right. That's
so
true.
Quick game 1 out of the 2 players. I'm quite surprised.
Let's go into game 2. I mean, this will be a nice little series.